Welcome to Claire's yoga inspired fitness workout. Today what we're going to work on is opening up the hips and also just getting a bit of movement. It's going to be a really fun flow. It won't be very long. It's going to be fast, quick, and just get everyone started and ready for the day. Okay, with that being said, let's start at the back of our mats in child's pose. We want to really sink into this pose, let everything go, lengthen out the arms and feel that nice relax of the spine. Come up onto all fours. We're going to do some gentle cat-cows moving through the spine. So we're almost going in a wave-like motion. Just to waken up the body. It might be the first thing in the morning for everyone, or the end of a long day sitting at your desk. And reverse the waves. Then come back to neutral. And then we're going to just sway our hips. This might be a little uncomfortable for some, others might be perfectly fine. You really want to feel that hip bone in its socket. Okay, let's do some big circles. Coming all the way back to our heels, all the way around. Change sides. Do two more. Back to neutral, and then sit back into child's pose. And we want to tuck our toes and then push back into our first downward facing dog. Really lengthen the hamstrings, push through the hands, and also lengthen the spine. You can move your legs to get some movement into the hips and into the calves, and just to waken everything up. And then from here, you can either step or jump, depending on whether you're ready, to the front of your mat, into forward fold. Put your pressure into your hands, and then we're going to jump back into plank. Come forward into chaturanga, to upward facing dog, and push back into downward facing dog. We're going to do this a few times to really add some heat. Jump forward, come up, into standing forward fold, halfway lift, place the hands, jump back into plank, and push back into downward facing dog. Come forward into plank, through our chaturanga, upward facing dog. Lift the thighs off the floor if you can. Push back, downward facing dog. And then take a few breaths here. Let's do a few more of those. Jump forward to the front of your mat. Halfway back into plank, push forward, down into chaturanga. Now hold it here, and push back up into plank if you can. Hold it. Push back up into plank. See if we can do this 2 more times. Hold. Up into plank. Last time. Hold. And then come through into upward facing dog. What we're going to do here is we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to do some tricep push-ups. Forward. Back up. Do this 5 times. Really feel that burn in your triceps. Up. Also engage your core. 3. Last 2. 1. Last 1. Then come all the way through into upward facing dog and push back into downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Now we're going to lift our right leg up into the sky, into 3-legged downward dog. And then just open up the hip. You take some big circles here. And then change the direction. Back into 3-legged down dog. And then we're going to step our foot to the outside of our mat into lizard pose. We can drop your knee if that feels more comfortable. And then what we're going to do is open up the foot so it's onto the side. We're going to place our hand onto the knee and we're going to push out. And this is a really great stretch to really get into those hips. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it in and then push out and lean slightly back. Bring it in towards the midline, push out. Let's do this 2 more times. In, out. Last one, into the midline, push it out. And if you're comfortable at this point, you can lift that back leg, push it further out, and just hold this pose for the best benefits. And if you feel comfortable, you can also come down onto your forearms and just rock slightly back and forth. Open up that hip a little more. Then come back up. Put your foot back on the floor and then step back into plank. Come through our chaturanga, upward facing dog, and push back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here and we're going to repeat on the opposite side. Okay, let's lift the left leg up into 3-legged downward dog. And then open up the hips. We're going to add some big circles. And anyone that's runners or hikers, this should feel really good as well. I find that I get a lot of tension in the hips, and this just really helps to open it up and loosen things off after a good run. Okay, change direction. Okay, up into 3-legged downward dog. And step forward into lizard. Hold the pose for a second. Like I said, if you feel like you want to. You can drop that back knee down. And then we're going to open up onto the side of our foot to really get into that hip. Okay, then take our hand onto our knee, push it out, and slightly lean back. And then we're going to bring that knee into the midline and push it back out again. Adding movement as we open it up. And at any time if it doesn't feel comfortable or it's putting pressure on too much pressure on your hip or your knee, just stay in this lizard pose or with your knee down and don't add so much movement into it. If you feel comfortable now, you can come up, lift that back knee up, lean back. Let's just hold the pose. Take some deep breaths. And for anyone that feels ready, come down onto forearms. Rock a little bit back and forth, side to side, whatever feels good for you. Come back up, place your foot on the floor and come back into plank and through our chaturanga. Upward facing dog and then push back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. And then we're going to jump forward into our wide-legged Malasana. Okay, use your elbows if you can to push your knees out. Also, some people might find that they can't put their feet down. That's not a problem. Keep your feet, you can stay up on your toes, and the more you get comfortable with this position and the more flexibility you get, the easier this will be. Place your hands at your heart and you can slightly rock side to side, back and forth, just opening up those hips. Take some deep breaths. What we're going to do here is we're going to power up the quad and we're going to push up into the air and then back down. We're going to do this 5 times. Three, and squeeze your glutes in at the top. Squeeze your thighs, last time. Come down, hold it here. And for anyone that feels comfortable, we're going to come from here and we're just going to go into a crow position, since we're already placed in this. If you've already done this before, then go ahead and just hold it for longer. If you haven't, make sure you put the weight into your hands. You're going to put your knees onto the back of your triceps and you're going to lean slightly forward. You can practice doing just one at a time, just to get the position. And if you're comfortable, you're just going to push up and you're going to use your arms just like a shelf. You're going to hold and breathe. Look forward, find your drishti spot, which is your focal point just in front to help you with your balance. And to come out, you can either just drop back down or you can push back and come up through your chaturanga. Hold just a few breaths in your downward facing dog as we start to slow down the practice now. We're going to come through and just bring our legs in front of us, up into boat pose. Hold it here, engage your core. We're going to do 5 boat canoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, last one, hold it, back up. Place your feet on the floor and slowly roll down, feeling one vertebra at a time. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to open up those legs into a butterfly, and we're just going to relax here. Take a few breaths, let the heart rate come down. You place your hands on your heart as you take some deep breaths in and out. Bring the knees together, come up, squeeze into a ball, and we're going to rock side to side slightly on our spine. And we place our right leg on the floor, and we're going to come in to happy baby on one side. You can either hold onto your toe, or you can hold onto the side of your foot, and you're going to keep your right arm towards the side. You're going to try and pull that knee towards the floor. And keep your right leg straight in front of you. And if you feel comfortable, you can extend that leg hold. Back to the one side of happy baby. Up into the air. And both legs up. And then change sides. Bring your right knee towards your chest. Then you're going to take either your toe or the side of your foot, and you're going to repeat on the opposite side. Really use the force of your hand to pull that knee towards the floor to get the most benefits. And really open up those hips. And if you feel comfortable, you can extend that leg towards the side. Back to half happy baby. Bring the legs up, come down, do a big stretch, and then bring your hands down to the side of you, and you can either finish off with your Shavasana with your legs out in front, or if you enjoyed it, you can keep your legs in butterfly and place your hands wherever they feel comfortable. And we're going to have a few minutes where we just rest, slow everything down, close our eyes, quieten the mind before we end the practice. Really focus on your breathing. Let the thoughts come in and out like fleeting butterflies. Don't pay much attention to them. Just keep focusing on the inhaling and exhaling of your breath. When you're ready, roll over to one side and come up into a seated position, either into your lotus pose or just in your easy pose with your legs crossed in front of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you really fired up the body and you felt that heat, and hopefully your hips feel much more open, and enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.